All right, all praise to the Most High Yahweh, and to His Son, my brother, Amashiach Yahushai. Peace and blessings to my brothers and sisters from the Israelite tribes. All right, in this video, I just wanted to do some interesting thoughts about what I've been seeing with the Russia and Ukraine conflict. So lately, I'm on vacation, or I was on vacation, getting ready to go back to work sometime today. But throughout the week, this past week, I've been following, you know, the conflict. I've been following this for a long time, actually, way before it became a hot war, because I'm an Israelite and we tend to, have interests in, different uh, worldly matters and conflicts. And we know for a fact that God and may God is gonna, make war on the east or on the western countries dealing with the remnant of the Roman Empire. And so I have an interest in it because I'm like most of us in Babylon as an Israelite. We want to go home. We want to go home as soon as possible. We don't care what it takes for those people to mess themselves up to do it at. We just want to, make them fulfill prophecies and get out of Dodge, so to speak. So, I've been watching India Today. I've been watching other live streams, and India Today is a recent channel that I just subscribed to uh, this week, past week. When I was like looking at coverage, they um, it just vary with the way that they report because you could tell that they have uh, uh, different personalities and freedoms working whatever position that they are working, and the different journalists or reporters are uh, talking about what is happening from their biased point of view. We all have biased point of view, just like my point of view is always going to be biased towards other people because I'm just thinking about myself and my people, not everybody else. So the same way that I could view things in a certain light, they are literally doing the same thing, even though they're supposed to be journalists and shouldn't have biases, but they do. And some of the biases is like, okay, it's something of a concern or it's something to where they really um, just don't know about what is going on. They're just looking at certain points of view that they could understand at the moment. And so I'm I'm watching this Indian network, and then there's another Indian network that I watch. We on, and I watch DW. That's Doche something. Um, I watch Al Jazeera and a few other networks that do live streams on YouTube, and you could pick up the different propaganda and the misinformation campaigns when you look at so many different, international news outlets versus, CNN, the regular cable system networks. And the irony is, it used to be to where, alternative media would be there to, tell the truth and everything, the missing parts of the news report. And nowadays you don't have too many alternative blogs or networks or anything. You don't have in between. You just have TikTok, Twitter. You have live streamers, and you have up and coming app news outlets like India Today and other big company news outlets. So they was going into day five topics and headlines, and they have a team. These are Indian people. These are your regular Japhetic, Caucasian mixed in, um, Indian people, and they've been reporting from Kiev, um, in different parts of Ukraine, not just Kiev, and then they also have journalists that are from Ukraine that are reporting as well. But day five topic was the curfew is over. They was making their rounds of preparing for the next curfew, getting food and clothes for the shelter that they are staying in, and or they are just looking around the scene for damages. Um, so the irony, so there's an irony. So and this was probably like a build up, and I was like watching it, a couple days, and I was like slowly getting a vibe from what I was seeing, and like it was going over the reporters' heads, and then you recall what Putin called the Ukrainian government, you know, drug addicts and racists, and so you slowly put together a puzzle and connect the dots, and so today, um, the curfew is over, like I said, and so the reporters they're trying to go to places that they want to go to see if they had like destruction or blowouts or injuries or something. But instead, I don't know if it was because of the curfew slowly being, you know, uh, released. Like they said the curfew was off at 7, I think, but yet there was nobody out on the street until later today, and so a lot of journalists they was like probably going to go find people that are enlisting into the militia, or looking for people to get their story about living in the bomb shelters and stuff. But the problem was not a lot of people was getting out yet, so they were still trying to talk to people that was signing up for the militia, and in doing that, they are watching behavior of people, and uh, the asking people questions about why they signing up and everything, and throughout the street, like if you don't have no business, even without the curfew, um, if you don't have business out on the street, you shouldn't be out in public. Period. And then the other thing is, they've been stopping people for a reason or for no reason, and especially if you are a person um, recording something, they're gonna immediately stop you, and not just stop you, but they'll jump out um, a civilian car, maybe um, a marked Ukraine police car, maybe, and they'll point the guns at you, and they'll ask you for your paperwork and question you and ask for your phone. So a couple of times that happened to these reporters. One reporter was stopped at a checkpoint a few times and um, shot at, and different things. And they, uh, one of the reporters shouldn't be that naive. He's an older guy. He's supposed to be one of their chief reporters. He's trying to say that maybe these were Russian plainclothes people that was running these checkpoints when they was driving through certain parts. So he and his colleague, this special forces um, retired guy, Raj, he they both um, caught the train to Kiev from southeastern Ukraine. So they drove a lady somewhere, and then they caught the train. They waited because the train wasn't moving. Once the train moved, they made it to Kiev. The problem is, so they got off the train. It was still during curfew. There's yesterday, I believe, and it was still curfew, and they was waiting at the train station. The train station is still full of people that's trying to leave Kiev, and people, and some people are going to Kiev for the militia to defend Ukraine. So these guys are waiting for curfew to be lifted. So they are wandering around the train station when they get guns pointed at them. And the reporter and his new best friend that he met on the train, a Ukrainian guy that's going back to check up on his family and to enlist into the militia, was held at gunpoint. And he was shocked. They were shocked. They was like, we are unarmed. And the militia people, the security detail, they didn't care. They were just, pointing the guns at them, and they was asking questions and stuff like that. And they got freaked out. And the reporter should have already expected this because he already been to different cities. The Ukrainian guy, he's like, that was his first time having that happen to him and having a gun pointed at him. And this is a Ukrainian that is getting ready to enlist into the militia for support. And he was freaked out about it, and he became like an honorary translator for the people that they saw on the street that was trying to become enlisted into the militia. So him and the reporter, this older guy right here, I believe, they was going with different groups of people where they stood, and they was asking if they was leaving or are they going to the militia. They got stories and stuff, and sometimes you could tell people was like pro Ukraine, like they was a hardcore nationalists, and most of them were because like they was vets. A lot of them was from East Ukraine, going there to fight in the militia. So they had no interest in going into the military. So these are ex-vets. They are, doing militia work or territorial, whatever they called it territorial civilian policing or something. I was like, slowly, things was clicking slowly because I've I got the vibe. I was getting this vibe of Alex Jones, Infowars, Prison Planet, Police State vibes. I was like, man, these people got tricked into becoming a police state out of nowhere. And today, the guy, the special forces guy that used to be in the military for India, he was going to like a press conference for the press in the city, and he had a feeling that the press conference was going to be a misleading press conference. So he was slowly starting to, pick up on what was going on, and he was starting to speak when he was around other people in the Indian language because he felt like he couldn't talk that loud, first of all, and he couldn't express himself accordingly in English because some of them may know English and find out what he's talking about. So he said something on the street before they went into the hospital about something. And the camera, before he was doing the hospital thing altogether, he was on the street talking about something and he switched to his Indian language. And in between all that, they arrested somebody was being arrested, and they don't know if the guy was like a Ukrainian citizen or Russian special forces. They just grabbed the guy and threw him on the ground, had the guns out and everything. So he was looking at it, everybody was looking at it, he was filming, and I was like, this is almost like America. Like, this is literally what is going on in America. And the irony, when Putin said these are racist, drug, or cocaine sniffing thugs, it's starting to look that way. Like, with the way the civilian military is handling themselves in public, it's starting to look like they just instantly filled that void of a police state. And Zelensky gave them that power, that this martial law status for them to do that. And I'm not saying he did it because he knew it was the right thing to do, but I'm saying, the people subconsciously, spiritually molded themselves into the evil that probably always existed in that country to begin with, and those people, and now they are living a thin line of right and wrong. And I noticed that. I was like, man, this is crazy. So that the ex-military guy for this news station, he goes into the hospital, and there's a lot of press people going into the hospital, and he didn't know at first that it was a hospital. He just knew it was a big complex. And after a while, he looked around and he's like, I think it's a hospital. And he asked somebody, and then it's like, it's a hospital. And he's like, he had a look, and I had a look when I was watching. I was like, are they gonna do what I think they're gonna do, a propaganda shoot with everybody? And the military guy, he went into like a PTSD rant. Like he called it either propaganda or pressure, and he's like explaining the difference between the two, and he's like looking behind him because he noticed there's a security detail of for the press going into the hospital. So he's being careful with what he's saying. He's switching from English to Indian, and he's telling people, he gotta uh, lower his voice because he don't want to speak over people. That they are having a conference or whatever, but he's like, they are literally using whatever happened to these kids to put more pressure onto Russia. And he's saying he don't know the stories that's going on with why the children are there to begin with. So how is it they're gonna use that hospital for war crimes? And he was like really angry and probably saddened about the moment. And so he left. He went in and he saw what was going on. So he left and he started like a rant. And he's doing like a live stream interview. So the anchor lady, she's agreeing with them, but at the same time she gotta pull him back for viewership and for control of the topic at hand, because um, that propaganda, yes, it is so obvious when you start to look at different live streams during this war. It's more obvious than previous wars and or media topics, because the information age and social media is like crashing against each other all the time. So she's agreeing with them, but at the same time she's trying to save the value of the network with, like, okay, this could be the case, but also this and this, and she's trying to move the story along. And he noticed what she was doing, so he's like, okay, fine. If you have any questions, let me know right here, right now, because, and that was his thing. He was straight to the point. So he's a very unique reporter because he understands the environment and the situation, and he don't want to be holed up. He That's probably something that he learned from his military background. Address the situation as soon as possible, as quickly as possible. And so he's constantly asking the anchor people, like, let him know if they have questions to ask to people while he streaming, because he don't want to make videos because he already been searched once and asked about credentials. So he's like, he gotta keep everything short and sweet and timely. And at that point I was like, man, am I watching what I think I'm watching? I'm like, I'm watching a police state unfold. Ukraine played themselves. They played themselves into a police state, and this is like almost like an algorithm that NATO is probably learning and watching and picking up on, because, like, notice how much money they raised and how much new laws that they had loopholes for, that they couldn't do without, parliaments and other recommendation from other bodies of government. Now all of a sudden they go write like a blank check for military equipment. So I was like, man, this is like watching a throwback to the police state with Infowars back in the day, and I was like, man, I gotta do like a thought video on what I'm seeing. And then you have this. This is an Indian network. On the live stream, they have open chat, and in the chat, you have a lot of people, spamming or trolling, but you also have a lot of people asking them, what about the Indian people that are being abused at the border? And this network, like, there was a shot that they did, and a lady told them that she was abused, and the one of the journalists, another lady, just skimmed over what she said and told them the talking point of what India wanted them to hear and say to those people that are being, relocated from Ukraine back to India. And then um they
Spotify's main right.
they they also um I haven't seen it on here yet, but also throughout social media, TikTok especially, there's uh this big crisis with African citizens, different Hamitic people, Shemitic people from Africa being shut out from being able to move from place to place, move to the border, get aid at the border. And nobody seems to be reporting on that. Maybe a few of the networks I'm watching on YouTube are reporting on it now, but before it was just not YouTube, but TikTok, social media campaign for Nigerians and other. But also, you see the um, the foolish nature of our people. So you have West African people or other African people that need help in Ukraine to get out, but at the same time you have um, I don't know if it's true because I saw it on TikTok. Ghana sending troops to Ukraine, and for people that don't know, like, West Africa is being, uh, in between situations. So Burkina Faso, Mali, and Mauritania, they are being, you know, overrun by uh, different parts of Boko Haram or other militant groups that are similar to Boko Haram in the region. And Ghana, instead of sending aid to, even in Niger have the same problem. Nigeria, a lot of places in West Africa, you have the separatist situation in Cameroon. Out of all the other places that Ghana could send troops to help out African people in West Africa and even in East Africa with whatever going on in Ethiopia, they decide to send people to Ukraine. And that's something that is unbelievable. And I'm like, hopefully this is like a meme or something, but hopefully I could double check that info. But it's like really, are you gonna really send military people to that place when Putin told you what exactly they are, and then you have Nigerian people and other African people saying that they are limiting their freedoms and their movement. And the other thing is, where is the embassy for these African nations, Nigeria and Ghana and all these? Uh, Where are their assistants as well? But you have to remember, Ukraine is a part of that Euro Asia landscape, and immigrants, migrants, um, visa holders from Africa, you are gonna always be somebody different to them. You might not be an African American to them, saying, okay, these are the N words, but you are not, somebody that they respect either or either. So you you and we all have to be mindful of this conflict and this situation being white people problems. White people with a lot of money, a lot of assets, a lot of resources. And you could tell because all these countries technically have debt. All these countries technically have currency problem, gold, silver reserve problems, energy crisis problems. But now all of a sudden, they could donate money out the blue, create new laws without going to their own government for votes to get aid to other people. So we have to be mindful. We have to be witness to this kingdom as it collapses. We have to be uh, cheerleaders. We have to have the mindset of we leaving Babylon soon, and that's our priceless moment. When we see all these prophecies being fulfilled, and know that it's almost time for us to just leave this behind and to go off into the wilderness. So that's my overall point with me, bringing this to you. Yes, we want to believe in the goodness and the innocent of people, especially white people, but most of the time, it's a heavy misinformation campaign, a heavy, well thought out game plan. And now you also have the media. So the media throughout the week, Russia this, the bully, Russia invade, Russia do this. And now Russia is not that strong as it used to be. Russia is weak. The resistant is this. The resistant is great. Ukraine is prepared. Putin wasn't expecting this. Putin is losing his mind. Putin is isolated. Putin is going crazy now. But then today they have satellite pictures. They have other detailed photos of the movement that the Russian troops been doing, and they are saying, okay, maybe we messed up. So you have satellite pictures showing um, pictures of the movement of the troops going around the cities that they are supposedly attacking. Most likely, they are sabotaging certain parts of the city, most likely. And so you see the footage, and then they have light infantry that been, captured or killed, and there's no logistic, there's no reason or plot or plans, and they are solely connecting the dots from other reporters out on the field saying, no, that's not the case. So often you hear them go, um, both sides are having a seesaw battle. No, that's what you are selling to the public. The issue and the situation is Russia wants to lay waste and siege to those cities, but they know that the media, the Western media, um, is running an information campaign. They can only do so much before they are painted in a certain way as bullies and stuff. So they probably are taking in the casualties for being, light-footed and trying to promote a sensitive campaign versus a heavy-handed campaign, because when when the different networks saw what was going on in Kyiv with the photos, they looked like they saw a ghost. So it's like you can't have it both ways, You gotta pick a side. You can't be okay, because normally Western media is like that. You have your biases, you have your conservative, you have your liberal, and for some odd reason, they are definitely confused on what side to pick. But they have to go with this narrative of NATO being everybody's savior. So this is the most interesting contrast that I've seen with media information, because this is live, and this is probably the first time to where I'm able to easily fact check. Before, I forgot what was the there used to be um, an internet site to where you could fact check everything. A long time ago, I used to watch Ben Swan. He used to be a okay to decent reporter. He would do fact checks and stuff, or reality check on things. And a few times he messed up the fact checks, but consistently he was very good with his reporting and information on the reality checks. So in this age, we are able to properly, easily fact check everything with the pictures, with social media information. So, if any of you people that are subscribed to my channel for some odd reason need some interesting news, um, entertainment, uh, India Today is a different kind of reporting. For the moment, I just subscribe to them because I wanted to look at the different live feeds and how they report and compare the two, But um, it's an interesting dynamic with how they run their scheduling and the commercials. They have like interesting, informative commercials. Some is like paid for propaganda, informative messages. Some is like, okay, this is entertaining commercial breaks that they are doing via news and information. And other than that, I just wanted to share with you my thoughts on the Ukraine situation. I don't have any predictions or anything. Normally I'm also on the live chat uh, on these channels, trolling. Sometimes I'm trolling. Sometimes I'm asking the host questions about the information that they are sharing. Because some streamers, they'll look at all the chat comments and they'll put information onto the stream for people to look at. And on here, India Today, I've been cheering on Russia, and I have a thing to where I go, let's go Russia, do it for Brandon, let's go Russia. The Bears, I have a emoji of the bear because that's Russia symbol. Some people might say it's an eagle. You could say it's an eagle too, but normally they're known as bears. And I just go the bears to promote what side I'm on. And sometimes I get into debates with people about why and about different combinations of groupings of people that I'm rooting for, like China, Russia, Iran, India. I can't say much about India. India is on the fence. They have to pick a side, just like everybody should pick a side and be done with it. So it'll be interesting to see how um, people ask me because I'm going back to work sometime today, and people know that I have different outrageous stance on different news topics and media topics, and I'm of course I'm for Russia. I'm not for all the people, just like a lot of people aren't for all black people. I'm not for all the Russians. I'm just for whoever ready to start World War III, take care of NATO, move the prophecies along, and being captured servants of Israel. That's it. That's it. And that's my belief and point of view of this whole um, situation. And people at work will probably ask me what I think, how I feel. I'm gonna tell them whatever I think and feel at the moment about all the stuff, and they shouldn't be shocked about it because even when I was woke and looking at alternative media like Alec Jones content, you know, he was telling us to beware of NATO and the banks and their system. And now we see why he was telling people exactly why to be aware of the banks and the system that they're creating. So Russia and China tend to have no um, chance but to do drastic steps to prevent, you know, them from looking like the bully. Even though they go, oh, China is this. They A lot of those countries are doing what's best for their citizens. America do not do what best for their citizens. They tend to do what is best for everybody. Technically speaking, technically speaking, they are doing what best for the banks, for the elite system, and for whatever uh, alliance they have in secret they are doing what's best for those groupings of things, not for the citizens. So most of the time, our nationality or our national pride is different from our government national pride for the citizens of the country. So we have to be mindful of those things, period. So with that being the case in the story of my rent, I want to say all praise to the Most High Yahweh and to His Son, my brother, Amashiach Yahushai. Peace and blessings to my brothers and sisters from the Israelite tribes. Thank y'all.